Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.
U.S. service members are opting to pass the COVID vaccine. Did I pronounce it right?
Oh, you mean pass on.
Pass on.
Pass on. They're
COVID
not
vaccine.
taking it. They're not taking it.
Well, yesterday we were talking how COVID vaccine makes you gay. So maybe there's something to do with that.
The Marines are like, hell no! Get that thing away from me. Yeah, this is kind of a funny story. I don't really understand it. It says thousands of service members are saying no to COVID-19 vaccine. This is a story out of the Associated Press. It says, by the thousands, U.S. service members are refusing or putting off the COVID-19 vaccine as frustrated commanders scramble to knock down internet rumors and find the right pitch that will persuade troops to get the shot. I never learned to read. Some Army units are seeing as few as 1/3 agree to the vaccine. Military leaders searching for answers believe they have identified one potential convincer, an imminent deployment. Well, that's interesting. Navy sailors on ships heading out to sea last week, for example, were choosing to take the shot at rates exceeding 80% to 90%. So if they say, you're going to war, then they have to, then they're like, okay, I'll take it. Which I'm not sure why that would be so convincing. Maybe you guys can tell us in the comments. Let's see here. Up to 2/3 of the service members offered to take the vaccine have accepted. And that's actually higher than the rate for the general public, which a recent survey found by the Kaiser Family Foundation put at roughly 50%. But the significant number of forces declining the vaccine is especially worrisome because troops often live, work, and fight close together. Well, okay. So here's the thing about the military guys refusing to take the vaccine, I think. This is an experimental vaccine. This is not a traditional vaccine. And they never really said that when they rolled it out. Nobody really talked about that. It was in a couple of stories here and there, science magazines and stuff like that. But it wasn't marketed that way. And the actual way that the vaccine functions is so significantly different than a regular vaccine that I actually was thinking they shouldn't even call it a vaccine. And so I think this scares the crap out of people. Like, we don't know what the side effects of this new technology are. Like, what are the side effects?
Well, one side effect is it might turn you gay.
If you didn't watch yesterday's broadcast, so in Iran, there's this cleric who told everybody in Iran, don't go near anyone who's had the vaccine. It's turned everyone gay. Which I still think is the best story I've heard in weeks. It's just too funny. But you can't expect people to trust a vaccine if you're not honest about that vaccine when you distribute it to them. Now, let me just say, for the record, that I think the vaccine probably is safe and efficacious and all that stuff. And the reason is because I have a very good friend who is a neuroscientist, and he studies this stuff. He's actually studied coronavirus. And what he told me, so I called him and I wanted to talk to him about this vaccine, this so-called vaccine. And what he told me, this is how I understand it. So in order to make a vaccine, you've got to basically trick the body into thinking they are infected with a virus. So the body produces all of these antibodies, fight the fake virus, but then it's like primed to fight the virus when you do catch it. So any virus that does get into your body, it's immediately killed off, right? And you never get sick after that. That's how vaccines work. Well, the way this vaccine works is it uses your cells to sort of skip one step in the manufacturing process. So one of the steps that would have occurred in the lab and taken a lot more time producing this vaccine is now performed inside the human cell, right, inside your cells. That's where the RNA stuff comes into play that you've heard about. So the step that would ordinarily be performed by scientists or researchers or whatever, I don't know who would do it, but in the lab, that step is now gone and it's performed inside your body. Now, what are like long-term side effects of your body performing this task? That's the kind of worrisome bit. But it doesn't look like it will be bad. Maybe for a few people here and there. I mean, all vaccines can be bad for a few people here or there. But it looks like the vaccine is probably totally safe, like compared to other vaccines. I know some people out there are probably anti-vax types.
I am, yes.
Can we keep that sort of stuff quiet?
No.
The show is a bad idea.
Well, Russians against vaccines, like, generally.
That's terrible. I will say this. Traditional vaccines, I trust completely. This new vaccine, because my good friend assured me that it was safe and kind of explained what the difference is between the traditional vaccine, I kind of like 80% think it's safe. But 80% isn't good for me. Like, still, I'm kind of like, I don't think I'll take it. But I do think that it's safe. I don't think this is like a trick.
Well, if you take like a flu vaccine,
Yeah.
they offer flu vaccine every year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to a doctor here, but he was a Russian speaking doctor. And he told me, like, every year they make a new flu vaccine,
Mm-hmm.
because every year you never know what strain of flu is gonna happen. So they just make couple flu vaccines, like, kind of randomly,
Not
guessing.
randomly. They give it their best educated guess.
Guess.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
what's the point? Take a vaccine if it's maybe not gonna work. Maybe
I think they most of the time probably get it right. I haven't looked into that, but I imagine most of the time.
I had a bad experience with the flu vaccine being in Russia, because every year in school we were required to take one, and every time I was getting sick for like 2 weeks.
We've already gone past our time by 5 minutes.
It's fine.
You got to pay attention to that, darling.
It's okay.
I'll beat her later.
So I had a bad experience. I was sick every time when I was getting a flu vaccine, and then I stopped taking, and I was fine. Like, every year, flu didn't. I didn't get sick. It
was a Russian vaccine, so who knows what it was?
I don't want.
Probably like sewer water.
I don't want to experiment with American vaccines yet.
Well, I'll tell you what. Maybe we'll get the flu shot, and you can see if you get sick. Just a test.
No, I don't want to. Why don't you do that?
I'll take it. We can go take it together.
And we'll see what happens. No, I'm not going to take anything.
We'll see if I get sick first. Okay. Do we have one final story?
We do. It's Biden hilariously fails in the first town hall.
Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.